What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another Eastside Fly video. My name is Eric G, and I don't know if it's just me, man, but these, specifically the national, like, broadcast coverage announcers irritate the fuck out of me. I've been watching the NBA playoffs, and it's been awesome. Like, I feel like all of these announcers, they're passionate, they got knowledge, they are talking about things important to the game, important to the just the broadcast itself is just so much better than what I've been seeing in the MLB. And I understand it's playoffs and they have better people. But oh my God, I had to watch my team lose 4-0. And that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was that these announcers are fucking trash. Like, I get the game is boring. There's a rain delay, but they're just so bad. Like, you need to help make this broadcast better. You want to know why nobody fucking watches baseball? Is because it's a sport that takes forever and there's not a lot of action, and you have to be invested in the small things and help the people that are watching get invested with you. Oh my gosh, this was terrible. It was so bad. And I don't like to just like shit on people just cuz. And maybe they've had better games. Maybe I've heard them. But the two announcers that I was talking about was Jason uh, Benetti and AJ Brzezinski. I think I said those right. I probably fucked those up. But my goodness, like, I don't know why they were so dead. It was like even when a home run happened, it just felt like it didn't even feel impactful. Like the the Royals had another home run to go up 3-0. It's a huge turning point. And like it felt like they just it was just like they were excited about the home run and then didn't it oh my God, it did not feel like it should have. It that needs to be a huge moment, and you need to talk about how that's a huge moment. And these two did not bounce off of each other. It felt like they just didn't. Maybe they're great on their own, but to put these two together was just bad. And maybe a lot of these other announcers. I know a lot of announcers do multiple sports. Joe Buck for a while did MLB and NFL, and like a lot of these guys are doing multiple ones, but like multiple sports, but man, like you have to sell it, man. You have to sell it. And MLB and baseball as a whole, especially in the US, nobody talks about it, nobody plays it, nobody watches it. Man, it's so hard. At least in Baltimore, it is a big thing that you'll see people with Orioles gear on walking down the street everywhere. We might not always show up to the games because our stadium do be kind of empty, but also we have 46,000, 40, no, it's less than that. We have a pretty big stadium for MLB standards. So, um, I think that, like, you know, it's hard when you got a big ass stadium and then, we're getting back to being a bigger city, but like we're on the smaller city list. So we're working our way back up. But the point being, like, I felt like our announcers that we had on Massing were better than what I was getting on a national broadcast. And that just shouldn't be the case. You should have the best of the best doing the national broadcast ones. And I think, like, as I was saying before, people wear the merch here. You don't see that if you go everywhere else in Maryland. I went to school in Salisbury and like nobody had Oreo merch. You would see Ravens every once in a while, but I would go to games wearing this back here. This is actually not a cover. I turned it into a cover, but Sove made this for me, and it's fantastic. And I would wear half and half, and people would talk about it's a Halloween thing. What? I'm going to a sporting event. The Orioles are playing, the Ravens are playing, and nobody watches the Orioles because nobody watches baseball. It's not like they were watching other teams. Nobody watches the sport, man. It's a dying sport, and I feel like this is a part of it. Like they're trash. You need people to watch a broadcast and be like, oh, that's so cool. People are gonna have questions. Why was that home run big? And especially when they went up by 4, it's like they had 3 home runs in one game. That's huge. Talk about that. And they just kind of glanced over it in the end. They were like, oh, and the Royals get three home runs. Well, why is that big? Because it's a pitcher's duel. And that's when literally the one both teams are shutting down the hitting. Like, talk about that. Talk about how these home runs are huge because there's not a lot of hits going on and runs are hard to come by. These home runs are even more impactful in a game like this. You know, and when they happen, you should talk about it. You got to give the Royals credit. They came out and hit today. They came out ready. They get shut out. And it's a crazy swing to then come the next day and you hit 3 home runs. Talk about that. Talk about how Sagano had a great outing, but sometimes great outings in baseball doesn't always lead your team to a win because you have to have both. Talk about how baseball is such a team game in ways that sometimes we don't see in other sports. You can have one all-star guy that can really carry a team in other sports. Like, you can't really get that with baseball because if you got one guy hitting, if a pitcher gives up 3 runs and he only hits 1 homer, goes 1 for 3 with a homer, that's a fantastic stat line. He's hitting 300. He's got 1 RBI. Like, that's an awesome stat line, but that won't win a game if your pitcher gives up only 2 runs. Like, talk about the importance. Like, I just feel like to me it was just a really bad game. And let me know your opinions down below. Like, let me know if I'm just being a bitch and like over critiquing things that I don't really know about because I used to when I was young like fake broadcast games, but like I wasn't doing it for real. So there is obviously an art to it, but it just felt like something was missing. I think that I didn't want to make all these videos in a row, but it's like with the change of the strike zone and then this, and we saw it tonight. Like there was calls all night that felt like it was a buffer zone. No, you don't get that pitch, and you should have. And it's for both teams. But I don't know it, man. Like you need to do better for the national broadcast because everybody can watch this game, and you're competing with the freaking NBA playoffs. You think somebody gonna tune into a boring broadcast? Man, I get it's a 162 game season. Like that's a lot, but for these national games, they need to definitely bring it and get people that are invested and you know are prepared for it. Talk about the moments, like talk about the big things. Talk about the storyline of Gunnar Henderson and Bobby Wood Jr. more. I mean, they did like and they did a lot of things well, but just the moments and the things that really bring it all together, I felt like were lacking, and I just wasn't seeing that from other sports. And it's like I like the sport. I played it growing up. Like I remember having teammates that were so into baseball. They got me into baseball. I was into it when I was real young, and then I just kind of kept playing because I liked the people because they were so invested. We would talk about the major leagues, and that's what got me into um, really watching the games and following as a fan. But just this whole like bad broadcasting stuff, it's gotta go, man. Like you need to find a way to have people be interested. I think this was just, you know, they're probably fantastic announcers on their own, but to me, my personal opinion, I just couldn't. I had to make a video. I was like, look, this is outrageous. Also, how do we feel? We got the old school gnomes of Baltimore, Crush Davis while he was on steroids. Um, Buck Showalter, my favorite manager. Um, here, and then Machado in the middle. Um, both of those garden gnomes. I just put those up. You can tell me if it looks like shit. I I'll take that into consideration. But I have them up on a shelf just collecting dust. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy. Leave your comments below. Let me know if I'm just being a bitch about this shit. And yeah, we will see y'all in the next one. Hopefully, it'll be um, a different topic, more positive. Maybe the MLB says something great. Maybe we see, you know, a lot more. I don't know, a lot more exciting news in the future. But right now, it's just little bit of a rut, but hopefully we'll get back out to it and back to hopefully some Orioles winning baseball. We talk about all the good stuff that's going into that. But thank y'all for watching. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.